Hopefully, your puppy only needs to have one surgery their whole life. That would either be their spay or neuter surgery. In this video, I'm going to share some exercises and aftercare tips that can help recovery time go a lot smoother and be less stressful for you and your dog. Michelle here with How to Train a Dream Dog. Before we begin, be sure to hit that thumbs up to let me know you're watching, and the subscribe button so you never miss another video just like this one. For this video, I'm going to talk about the spay and neuter surgery aftercare, but these same tips can be applied to most post-surgery recovery. Okay, so the vet is definitely going to tell you no running, no jumping, no swimming, no grooming, no tug of war, and fetch-like games for your dog for about 10 to 14 days. This means your dog will not have access to the furniture, including couches and your bed, or at least they shouldn't. We don't want them jumping on or off and tearing their stitches out. As always, talk to your vet about your pup's downtime and what restrictions there are. When I worked at the vet's office, I saw a lot of people returning soon after their dog had surgery, only to have another surgery to have the incisions stitched for a second time, because they let their dog overdo it and tear those stitches out. Now, you're going to need to have a few things on hand post-surgery, and if you've done your homework, you'll likely have these things ahead of time. And you will have likely already introduced them to your dog, so it won't be an issue after surgery. Always pre-train ahead of time, so when you need to pull from your training bank, you can use what you've already practiced. I'll explain in a moment in more detail, but for now, here are the must-haves for a typical spay or neuter surgery recovery plan. So you're definitely going to need a leash, since your pup will not be allowed to run around on their own. This means your pup is going to need to be taken outside to potty on a leash, and you'll be making short walks around the inside of your home as well as outside. Short walks are key. We don't want to overdo it, and we can cause injury to our dogs if we do. You're going to need a cone or a donut so your dog can't lick at their incisions. Dogs lick at pain on their body. They don't know that they're supposed to leave the incisions alone. Licking can cause infection from the bacteria from their mouth, and we don't want to keep the incision damp, as this can help more bacteria grow. Now, I love these two options here for recovery cones. The NovaGuard is one that is better than the traditional lampshade looking cone that you've probably seen for years. This one is a more streamlined shape, and it can fit through doorways and in the crate much better than those wide cones that you're probably used to seeing. It's also a lot easier for dogs to eat with these cones on. I love that our dog's ears can fit through the holes on the side, not only to help it stay secure, but also allow airflow and less irritation to the ears. Now, the alternative to the NovaGuard is the cone or the donut. This one fits around the neck and prevents many dogs from being able to reach around and lick incisions and wounds. Some dogs with longer necks can still access the incision, so be sure to measure your dog and read the sizing chart on the package to determine if it's the right fit for your dog. Next up, a puppy pen. Since your dog needs to have downtime and not be allowed to run all over the house, you may want to consider a puppy pen so that they can still play and stretch but not overdo it in the exercise department. You will definitely need a crate. Everyone always thinks they can just put their dog on a bed at night and the dog will just stay there all night long. Dogs love to explore, and they definitely will want to get up and move around if you're sleeping. Since we always recommend crate training from day one, as it's a life skill, you should have already been working on crate training. As with all training I mentioned in this video, it is important to start before you need it, not at the time that you need it. Think of crate training and leash skills and other trainings as skills that need to be practiced, or create a ton of dress rehearsals before the big show or the time that you actually really need to use those skills. One additional item to add to your recovery checklist is Adapto. Adapto is a DAP, or a dog appeasing pheromone. It's like a calming scent that the mother dog gives off to calm her pups. Using Adapto after your dog's surgery can help them remain calm and relaxed instead of riled up. Now, as I mentioned a moment ago, you may have to counter condition or desensitize your dog to some of these items. Most commonly, we desensitize our dog to the cone or the donut before they go in for the surgery. The The goal is to be able to get the cone or collar on your dog. That's what the finished product is going to look like. The steps to get there might look like this. First, we're going to show our dog the cone and deliver some kibble or training treats. We're going to take the cone out of sight and the treats are going to stop as well. During the first session, we are not going to attempt to put the cone on our dog. Step 1 is all about making a positive association with the cone. Step 2 may be what we call the bump it game. This is where our dog learns to bump the object that they're learning to make a positive association with. Okay, step 3, maybe your dog is putting their head in the cone and you take it off before they have a chance to pull away or back out of it. Keep in mind the reinforcement is given when the cone is on their head or the donut is on their neck. Step 4 might be putting the cone completely on, feeding your pup kibble or treats while it's on for a few moments longer. As training sessions progress, the time is going to increase. We never want to just slap on a new tool to a dog that's unfamiliar with it, as this can create a negative association. And it is pretty common for puppies who have a cone or a collar to freeze and feel as if they're unable to move. Keep in mind that when your puppy comes home, they will be groggy for about 24 to 48 hours. This means they may not want to eat much, and they may not have regular bathroom habits either. And it is likely that they will have to go back a step with the potty training. Accidents are pretty common after a pup returns home after surgery. Now, the most common reasons for these accidents are that they had IV fluids running through them throughout surgery, which means they're going to have to go to the bathroom a little bit more frequently upon returning home. Even after a day or so, they may still have accidents as their hormone levels are changing. They are recovering from surgery, so there is definitely pain and discomfort. Sometimes the pain medications they're given may cause them to be more thirsty, which could lead to more accidents, or at least the need to go outside to go potty more frequently. Now, if you don't catch that in time, they may have an accident inside. You're not going to scold them for this. You are going to want to avoid a few things when it comes to post-surgery though. So avoid things that will irritate the incision site. This means things like diapers and onesies, and sometimes even those recovery suits. Some of these products are made with good intentions, however, they do sometimes lead to irritation along the incision. This can drive your dog a little crazy, especially if the incision is already itchy and sore. It also really draws more attention to the incision when the fabric rubs against it. Now, we already talked about avoiding free roam of the home, so your pup doesn't just run and jump on the furniture when they aren't supposed to. You do want to check the incision site regularly. An infected incision will be pussy or oozy with a goopy-like substance, and it could be inflamed, and it may be bleeding. If any of these things occur, consult with your vet immediately. It's also important to make sure that your dog stays hydrated, as we don't want dehydration to occur. Now, don't assume that your dog will know to remain calm and relaxed after surgery. Typically, past the 48-hour mark, our dog's energy level resumes back to normal. This is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it shows that your dog is healing and recovering from surgery. It's often a bad thing because all too often dogs that don't have restricted access rip open their suture site and require restitching. This means your dog would have to go back to the vet and be put under anesthesia again to have those sutures put back in. Some dogs have internal stitches, and those can rip and come out if your dog is running and jumping and playing too hard. Now, you would think your dog has a better understanding or better sense not to do these things, but the problem is that adrenaline is pumping through your dog's body, and that kind of overrides any discomfort. You and I both know that when we have surgery, we have to take it easy. Our dogs don't understand that concept at all. So since you're supposed to limit their activity, how are you supposed to give them the right exercise? Let's talk about some things that you can do to exercise your dog without overdoing it. Now, I'm going to highly recommend that you take notes on the things I'm about to share. We always stress mental and physical exercise and how important they are to drain out any pent-up energy. But since we're limited on the amount of physical exercise we can provide our dogs, we're going to mostly focus on the mental exercise and limit physical exercise to smaller, less strenuous activities. Now, for mental exercises, we can use canine enrichment activities. I have a whole video here all about canine enrichment activities. Check that one out. You can watch it there after this video. You definitely can play most of the games from inside our online puppy training course. which really focuses on manners and leash skills, impulse control, and developing a strong relationship with your dog. We can also use scent games, where your dog has to use their nose to find objects or different scents. Here are a few games that I recommend. First up, the Where Did It Go? Or the Cup Cover game. This one's great for both you and your puppy to play together. You're just going to get out 3 cups, hide a biscuit or a piece of kibble under one, and move the cups around and let your pup guess which one the kibble or biscuits is under. Next up, the puzzle games. There are tons of puzzle games out there for dogs. And if you've never used a puzzle game before, make sure that it is an easier one to start with if your dog's never used them before. If the puzzle game is too hard for your pup, it's going to become disinterested and frustrated, and in turn, they wind up walking away. I really love this Shufflebone puzzle toy. Now, 2 of my other treat dispensing or kibble dispensing toys that are great to keep your puppy occupied are the Kong Wobbler and the Bobble-Lot. Both toys require your pup to bat at and push or paw or nose the toy in order to knock the kibble out. Now, I don't want all activities to involve food, so we want to make sure that we're working on some calming rubs to keep our pup calm and relaxed. You can create some busy toys at home as well from things found around the house. So for example, you can find an old Amazon box, who doesn't have one of those laying around, and fill it with some towels or old clothes that you were going to donate and sprinkle in some kibble. It's a great way for your dog to sniff around and nose around and paw at the items as they try to find the pieces of kibble. Remember to measure out your dog's food daily. Take a portion of that meal and set it aside for some of these activities. This way you know you won't be overfeeding your dog. Keep in mind, only about 10% of your dog's daily diet should consist of extra kibble or treats. You can even turn a muffin tin into a busy toy by filling the compartments with kibble and placing a few tennis balls or other toys on top. Your pup now has to move the toys off the top of the compartments to access the kibble. Be sure to grab some super tasty chew toys for your pup, as they're going to have a significant amount of downtime. Nyla bones, Bennett bones, and even split antlers can make great chew toys. The secret to making them even more exciting is to put them in your dog food bag overnight. Let them absorb some of the smells and the oils from the dog food. It becomes more exciting and interesting to your dog. Now be sure to rotate the toys out every couple of days so your dog doesn't get bored. Your dog will already be bored since their activities are limited. Another activity you can work on are some of our leash skills inside our online puppy training course. Some of the first foundation skills don't really require you to move around all that much. So for example, we have the Close to Me game and the Go Zone game. We work indoors and we don't require the dogs to walk around at all, really. I definitely recommend that you do some walking, but keep it limited to walking around your house and your own property. And really, you want to wait until you get the clearance from your vet to go on those long walks. Now, another really good activity for your dog to participate in is scent detection or nose work. You can start off by taking just a few pieces of kibble or training treats or a favorite toy and hiding it in the house and encouraging your dog to go find it. You can also start some formal scent or nose work training as well. Not only is this great for your dog, but it's a great bonding experience for you both. I am all about building the best relationship possible with your dog. Okay, another game I often do with my dogs, especially when we don't have a lot of space or they need to stay more focused on me and be in a less distracting environment, is the target game. This is great for you to do with your dog at home as well. Now you can learn more about the touch and target game in this video here. Now, before I share my last tip with you, be sure to hit that subscribe button to let me know you're watching. I don't want you to miss out when another video goes live. Alright, now the last game that you're going to introduce to your dog really is more of a beneficial skill than it is a game. However, it's a great skill to work on during this time. It's the go to your spot or go to your bed or your crate on cue. Or both, really. When we teach our pups to go to their spot, this is a place that they're supposed to go to on cue and not get off until we give the magic release cue. Now, there are a few steps to introducing the skill to your dog, and they definitely are covered in great detail inside the online puppy training course, 30 Days to Puppy Perfection. Well, we really can't just tell our dog to go to their spot, as they don't have an understanding of what it is, and more importantly, the steps we take to teach this are broken down into micro steps, it's tiny little baby steps, so that we can build the duration of them staying on their spot and not getting off until that magic word is given. Without going through the proper steps, your dog will likely get off and it's going to lose its implied stay. This means the cue becomes less effective if your dog can get on and off at will. Now, one final note to consider about your dog's post-surgery activities. If you find that your dog is unable to calm down or remain relaxed even after the limited physical exercise and lots of mental exercise, then you may need to call your vet. I always recommend going the natural route for calming aids, like I mentioned the Adaptil earlier, because sometimes the medications can make your dog more hyper, and it may take a couple of tries with different medications to help settle your dog down. Alright, in the comments below, let us know which tip in this lesson is most useful to you and your puppy.